Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. Welcome to another stream. Let me just adjust that. Hello. Today's going to be a quick one. I don't got a lot of time, but I have just enough time to do a small bit of things. Okay, so this, I never know how much to assume whoever's watching this has seen the previous streams and know what's going on, and thus I needs no explanation or to recap from everything from absolute scratch. Well, I'll do an in-between compromise. We are making a game in 9 days for this challenge, not for any kind of competition, just me doing this for funsies. Also, first week, kind of 2 weeks now of getting back into streaming, so doing this just challenge just because for funsies. And then, I am missing something. Okay, right when I was about to start, I was like, have I missed something with my setup? I totally did. The background music, blah, blah, blah. And you, and you're fine, I guess. Okay. Volume's okay. Yeah. Well, that doesn't affect that. You over here. Okay. We're good. I forget anything else? Hopefully not. So it's like a mental checklist I have to go through every time I'm about to start, and yeah, I always forget something. Anyways, where was I? So, making game in 9 days. Today's day 9 of the challenge. It's not actually day 9. It's past that. What's today's Friday? Last Sunday was supposed to be day 9 of the challenge. But I had many days of being so busy with other things that I couldn't work on the game whatsoever. So I just skipped those days. This is the 9th day of being a day where I could actually work on the thing. With some extra rules on the side, where day 1 we didn't actually work on the game really. It was all planning. We did a tiny bit of stuff in Unity, more just conceptualize idea rather than all just me spouting words. But day 1 was mostly planning, and then the goal initially was that by the end of day 8 we'd have a finished version of the game, and then day 9 was just the kind of bonus day to sort of just publish it. That's what we're doing today. It's just all today is really we're just publishing the game on Itch.io, just because it's something I said I would do, and it's gonna be a little bit more to it than that. I guess when you go through the stuff on Itch.io, there's uploading a cover image, and when you have a game in the bottom, having this image, I want to make those things. We're gonna do a tiny bit of photoshopping, which I don't know if that'll be mildly interesting or whatever. Ideally, we're not actually. So we did get to a point where the game was finished by the end of last night. I didn't stream yesterday. The last day in stream time. So the game itself is done, asterisk, with a huge asterisk there. So it is in a state where we can publish it. Other than if we change any things around with names or cover art or the taskbar images. All that, the icon type things. If we change any stuff with that, then other than that, yeah, things be good to go. So yeah, I did say though that this isn't going to be all there is to the story of this game. We're going to be coming back to this at some point. For now though, so when we were first playing the game, and even while we were working on it, we had more ideas of stuff we wanted to do in this game, but didn't quite get time for. So actually, I'm gonna let's just switch to a random other level just for wow, what's going on here? We started this with as we were working this, we had more stuff that we wanted to do, but just because of time reasons, we didn't get everything done that we wanted, and that's okay. This is my challenge. I can make up and change the rules however I please. So how we sort of tweaked things is that by the end of the day 8, where we are now, we have the game in a playable kind of a state, like a prototype, where it has a start, has an end, has levels that you can go through, that people other than me can play. At the beginning, it kind of shows controls a little bit. It just has a little bit these that we whipped up, which look all right. This I actually quite like, I guess. This, the we need a font that's basically this style, but has a capital A, but whatever. And it has a bit of an end deal. There's a little bit of programming in there just for the flair of why not. Let's just, as I go through here, just jump to random levels for no reason other than why not? Rotating Goddess, hello! Beta is still success? Yeah, so I'd say that's one good thing, I guess, is that technically it is a playable thing, and I could pretend the game is completely done right now. But also, hello, welcome. So the idea though is what I'm doing with this is so we're gonna put this game on Itch.io just because it's what I said I would do. I was hoping it'd be the fully polished, super awesome version of this, whatever. And then I can throw away the time limit, this like time constraint of this 9-day thing. That can be over and done. It's like cool, we're doing it, but like I don't gotta treat this like it's a race against the clock anymore. Then going forward, we're gonna do other stuff. That'll be its own separate thing. That's cool. Is that the last 9 streams have just been working on this game, and I don't know if anyone's getting sick of it or whatever. I mean, I think this is cool, but it'd be cool for me to move on to other things that I have planned, other things I want to do. So that's gonna be one thing. Is we're gonna have other streams doing other types of Unity content. I mean, Unity content if we're like 3D modeling something for a game, can be, Blender or like whatever. But I have other things I want to do. But then also from time to time, we'll return to this and then just start going through the list of all the different polishing kind of things that I wanted to do, of just like better character animations, better art, better lighting, post-processing. We want a better final level, like how the game ends. We had a whole different idea for that, of kind of a pseudo boss fight sort of thing with a giant 5x5 enemy, like doing all that kind of stuff. The beginning having more of an intro cutscene kind of thing. Main menu, level select, like all the works. Yeah, I want to obviously let this game be a playground for me to do all that kind of stuff. Because me, as someone who makes indie games but starts a million projects that I never finish, this can be good practice for me to, well, by the end of the year, this will be a third-person RPG. I know, okay. That is one thing. Other than the list of things we want to add that I have, ideally, I don't want to add 2 more to that list. I could, if I really, really wanted to, take this game and like add all these crazy mechanics and like a hub world and like 15 types of enemies. Like we could keep adding new mechanics to the next millennia, but I don't want to do that too much. I want to, with some additions for the sake of just the things that we had planned that I would like to still add, like the sort of boss thing at the end, and just some more like visual things that'll be cool, like as you're going through the level, stuff like tearing off the sides or whatever. And we did say that how you transition between levels, I've already done that ramble of it's gonna be completely different. Very cool in theory, conceptually. But yeah, so because even a game as small as this game doesn't look like it's that, it might look a little bit complicated, but it doesn't look like it's that intense of a game. Yet there are so many little things that are required to like, it's not required, it's all optional. I could say this is the final version and be done with it. But if I want to take the game from here to here, there's just so many little bits of polish that we can do, even just for something like as small as this. Which is why I kind of want to do that, because it's good practice for me. As I said, someone who has a bajillion unfinished projects, I don't usually get to the part in game development where I am, putting in just all of that polish, taking it from here to here, and then having, this much better presented project. So it'd be good practice for me, doing stuff that I don't usually do in Unity. Oh, I've just, okay, tiny, this is not important in the slightest, but I have noticed that there's missing a thing here. I'm not gonna rebuild for that. Oh, Game Trick Studios, hi, hello, welcome to the stream. Also, I'm taking this off because it's way too hot, as I've said before. I have a fan, but I don't have it on when stream be going because background noise. And hello. I don't know when you got here and how much of my rent I have to redo, but short version is 9-day challenge to make a game. We're done now, basically, with the game. This is the bonus day of all we're doing is just doing a little bit of photoshopping and then like putting up itch.io. I don't have a lot of time to stream today. It is 9:23. I need to stop before midnight. In some previous streams, I'll say that and then go over. Today it is more mandatory that I have stuff to do that I need to stop early. So hopefully we can get all that done on time. So today's just the short stream of just like, this is done, the celebration, we did the thing or whatever. Which is also why people complaining about small visual glitches in indie game members are kind of dumb to consider it. Yeah, it's for a game jam? No, actually no. If it was, that would have been worse because technically this isn't day 9. What day is this? So last Sunday, 9, Monday 10, Tuesday 11, Wednesday 12, Thursday 13, day 14. Technically this would be day 14. No, this is just, if you're still on in a few hours, I'm gonna yell at you. Okay. Yeah. the only reason I did this is this 9-day challenge was, so it was two things. One, I just started streaming again, like, at day one of this challenge. And this seemed just like a fun way to get back into streaming. Like, let's just do this challenge of making a game, rather than going immediately into the stuff I was before. So one, I just thought it was a cool way to get back into streaming, I guess. A nice little, like, just thing to do to take over the course of several streams. That was thing number one. Thing two, I have so many projects that I never finish with game stuff that this was like a practice run at planning something small and then actually finishing it rather than letting it go super out of proportion. Now, we didn't exactly do that because I guess I didn't fully succeed in scoping small enough, because I did plan something that I thought was small and then in actually building it realized, oh wait, okay, there's a lot more steps to this than I initially thought. And we had like some minor issues of things going wrong and taking like some bugs that took way longer to fix than I thought. But also just, I thought I'd have way more time to actually do this challenge. If I say 9 days, I thought more percentage of those days I would be actually working on this. The initial intent was that I'd be working on stuff with this game like between streams, try to do more of the tedious stuff off stream, and then on stream do the more cool, interesting stuff. Didn't work out that way because I have a full-time job and just am busy. Super duper duper busy, but that busyness will be starting to go down soonish, but not just yet. So basically most of the time working on the game was just during the streams. Hey, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Thank you. Game Trick Studios. Woo. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, glad you appreciate just my random rambling about stuff. Anyways, yeah, so it was like a practice run at planning something small. Didn't fully go that way, but that's okay, it's fine. That's why I wanted to, I sort of split it up, where I said, okay, rather than, if we're not gonna finish the game by day 9 or whatever, let's do this instead. By day, technically from last stream, the end of day 8, but kind of day 9. Let's have a finished game. Maybe not a complete, fully polished game, but something that's like playable, like a prototype, which is what we did. We designed some levels. There's like a chunk of thing at the beginning that's like special, and there's a chunk of stuff at like the end, the like thanks for playing thing. Like, it's playable. So technically, we can say that we made a game in 9 days. That succeeded. It just, I guess, is not as big as we wanted it to be, but that's okay. Technically still finished something. But just, and then I could say that this game is done and then never touch it again. But we had a lot of cool ideas that we wanted to do for this, so I want to, after this day 9, say the challenge is done, cool, and then maybe not immediately, not right away. I have some other cool stuff that I want to do. There's cool stream things that'll hopefully be interesting. But then eventually at some point we return to this, put in more of that polish just for funsies. Yeah, which one of those things, this is a good test bed for something that I've always wanted to do, but I've never bothered doing the Googling to figure out how to do it. With achievements, not just achievements, but Steam achievements. When you put a game on Steam, how they can have Steam achievements. I want to figure out how that works, how you hook into the Steam API, whatever, to have a game actually trigger Steam achievements to happen. Which then means that, I guess, it would be, only if this game gets to a point where it's actually like a lot better as a result of being more polished. I guess I will put this game on Steam, but it's not really much of a, like, it's a small thing. It's gonna be free. If I put it on stream, it will be free, but just for the sake of a testing ground to figure out, like, Steam achievements, I think it'd just be a thing on top of many of the other things that I want to do with this. I guess while I'm rambling, let's just do a run through of the game. You know, since I made that like one minor tweak, I'll just build the game again. Build this, and yeah, you can, yeah, because I do all this rambling for people who are new here, curious what the game actually is. Well, let me show you. It starts off slow because it does. And the game itself isn't that like, whoa, amazing, but so like keep expectations low, but here we go. So this is the game called No Time to Think. Even the name I'm not super happy with, but it's like good enough. It's a name, better than not having a name. So one thing that I think that this game does well when we get to it is that there's no tutorials and like, you know, here's how these things interact with each other. I do a lot of good, like, or decent enough, I guess, just stuff on the side, or designing a level that forces a situation to happen so that the player can like figure that out. Like right here, you might think that going off the edge will kill you. It's for reasons. Just assume, if you think something should be another way, I have definitely rambled about it 10 times why I specifically had a certain design choice for why, in this case, holes don't kill you. There's like specific reasons why I did certain things. Feel free to question anyway, but, I live for PlayStation trophies, so I'll approve this endeavor of adding achievements. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna cheat a little bit in that I think it'll be easier to integrate with whatever Steam code I have to integrate with if the game already has like a built-in achievement system. Like have in-game achievement, then it's all in Unity, and in theory that should be easy enough. Once that's working, then there's just like the extra step of like when you trigger the in-game achievement, it's probably like a couple lines of code. It's something I download and like add like some package in the game or something to then hook into whatever with Steam. That's what I'm thinking. Like I don't think it's that like with tutorials, it's probably not super hard of a process. It's just something I've never done, and so I want to figure it out just for funsies, just so I know more Unity things that I've never done before. Also, for people who are new here, I have a bigger game that I'm working on, that I was working on before, that we're working on getting back to, called The Handyman with a Unicycle. In theory, that game's big enough that it has a whole bunch of achievements, like actual proper full achievements or whatever. So doing it here on a small scale readies me for doing it there on a big scale. That's also what some of this is. Doing stuff that I've never done before on a small scale to then apply it on a big scale. Especially with some of that like polish that we want. Games that show the achievements of the actual game can view the list in a menu or some of their best kind of games. Yes, achievements are awesome. And then that also makes it good for like, you know, if you have a game on the Switch. Like Switch doesn't have, you know, Steam achievements or Xbox achievements or PlayStation trophies. So then, like, no matter what platform the game's on, it can still have achievements if they're a built-in thing. Some games are weird in that they'll have different achievements depending on the platform. I know, like, I think Super Meat Boy does that. And, I mean, like, I guess it's not the worst thing ever to be done, but, like, I mean, it's cool that, I guess, having achievements better than no achievements, I guess. But yeah, that is a thing that happens. I have seen sometimes happen. But then it's also probably just harder to like keep track of. I guess, so when you have a game made in Unity, Unity is good at being like cross-platform. It's a lot easier to do that. Even though I guess I personally myself haven't done that. That's just what I hear. When you have games, like especially older games that are way more like manually coded to work with everything, how all that do be super complicated, then I guess that makes more sense if there's some inconsistencies here and there, just like the tangled web mess to just get that to function in the first place. Anyway, so that was level 2. There's just some turning around walls and stuff. There are walls and there are holes. They function ever so slightly differently. Right now, it looks like they function exactly the same. They have some differences when we introduce some other mechanics. But yeah, so like that's like stuff in theory I want to have, learn to do that kind of stuff like achievements. And not just achievements. If I hold up my phone to the webcam, you're not gonna be able to see anything. I have, over the last little bit, made a list of just random little things, big and small, of things that I've never done with game development that I want to learn how to do. And that's actually going to be a lot of streams, a lot of interesting content, I think. It's just, here's a thing I've never done, let's do that. Rather than making a whole game out of a certain idea, just being like, new Unity scene, just figure out how to do like a character ledge grab, or making lasers that bounce off mirrors, or something like that. Having like snow and then something that's walking in the snow and it makes like actual like deforming into the snow footprints. Things like that I've never done. Just those can be streams. Like those are potential, you know, things I want to do. Just where some of them it's just like, I've never done this. I think it'd be cool to just figure out how to do that for the sake of learning. And some are like, for like the Handyman with the Unicycle, I want this thing to be in that game. So let's do it on a small scale. And then maybe I could just copy that code straight over when I work on the real thing. Like ledge grabbing is an example of that. Yeah, the only time I've seen trophies different for the same game, depending on console, usually a generation game. Yeah, where old games get remastered, lose any online multiplayer trophies. Yeah. So good. It does happen. I think it's probably very rare, but it can happen. I think Super Meat Boy has some differences. It even has some slight differences in game, I believe. There's some like unlockable characters which differs slightly from console to. Which differs slightly from console to PC. Blanking on words. Anyways, so actually, one thing I died on purpose because I just want to show something off here that I think is just a cool thing that I'm like, yeah, designed to level good. Is that, so this is fire, these are springs. In the polished version, it'll actually look that way in theory. Like this will be, you know, fire particle effects and all that. And this will be an actual physical spring that'll like boiling with like a sound effect or something, right? We didn't get time for any kind of like audio or anything like that. So in this non-polished version, where it's just like, oh, they're just colored squares, what do they mean? At the beginning of the level, it's likely you'll touch one of these and then you'll die. It's like, okay, fire, bad, got it. But then you might see the screen like, is that acid? Do I also not want to touch that? I force it that you cannot progress unless you touch the green block. And then you'll know that the green block is good. So that I did on purpose. That's a little bit of like, I don't have to explain, this is a spring. It does stuff. that I think is a strong point of where I succeeded in the level design of this game is some of these like teaching moments where learn by doing and not by telling. Also, so springs launch you forward. That I also here's just this. There's no level thing here. There's no puzzle here. It's just like I just put a bunch of springs around so that the player has some room to experiment with how springs work before they go into the real stuff. And then also the fact that springs launch you over a block. I then force this interaction. Hey, a spring launches you over fire. Now you know for later stuff. This, enemies. Enemies are a thing. Hey, enemies die to fire. Didn't have to like have a tutorial box for that. It just happened and you saw it happen. And now you know, hey, those enemies can die to fire. And also enemies exist, but like they're not a threat yet, I guess. And then also more stuff here with boulders. I'm no master at level design. I do think that level design in general is kind of one of my weakest points of game making. It's just something I struggle with, mainly with like overthinking or whatever. But like, it's like I can make maybe some levels that are like decent. It just takes me forever to actually do it. Like the time it takes it can be a lot. Although in making this, I kind of had an epiphany a little bit. Oh, also here, we teach the fact that when you're on a spring, you can launch in a different direction. Because you just by forcing it, like you can't progress unless you learn this mechanic that I want you to know is a feature. It's kind of just, also enemies don't go off springs. We also show that that's a thing. So arrows where it's safe, where it's not, they just force you to move in a certain direction. Oh, by the way, if you haven't caught on, I move every 0.4 seconds. That's part of the thing. It's not just like that I move, like I have to turn, you know, reaction time to go the way I want. That's just a thing. Anyways, what was I've started so many tangents that I haven't finished. I apologize for being all over the place. Both because I'm talking about like stuff with like what you're seeing about the game and certain things I did that I think are cool, but then also about like where we're going after this. Okay, so yeah, I've lost all of whatever I was talking about, so I'll just kind of start over. Not start over with, hey, this is a game we're making in 9 days. No. I do. There's the whole thing that I know that like as I'm streaming, you know, people are coming in and out, so there's some level of me repeating stuff, which I'm fine with, I guess. I haven't got sick of me talking just yet. But yeah, so anyway, so I guess what's happening after this? I'll just start there. So we're finishing this game, and then we're gonna have some streams in the future where we're polishing it. In between, sorry. In between, we're gonna be doing other stuff. One of those things being, here's a thing I've never done in Unity, let's figure it out. Which hopefully that's gonna go good. Some of those ideas might not go well, where it's a lot of me just like hemming and hawing and like Googling tutorials. I don't want to just necessarily be watching tutorials on stream, ideally. So ideally, I do some research beforehand and then come to the stream with an idea of how we're going to accomplish the thing, rather than starting from complete scratch, but we'll see. But I have a list on my phone that's currently at 140-something items that, maybe not all of them will be a thing, but like a thing that we do, but just 140-something potential ideas of, here's a stream, or multiple streams, depending on how large the thing is. Like one of those things just being that I want to maybe make a small like skateboarding game just to learn how some of that physics can work and whatnot. And then some stuff I learned from that can then be useful for the Hey, Unicycle, which is not a skateboarding game, but is very physicsy based movement with, ideally I want it to have momentum where you can go down like a hill, gain a lot of speed, go off a ramp and like launch yourself pretty far in theory. So yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, game looks fun. Thank you. Cool. It's hard for me to also like, because I've been looking at this for a week and making all these small changes and like whatever. It can be hard for me to be like, is this fun? Is this the most boring thing ever? I don't know. It can be hard for me to like put my head, whatever expression I'm trying to say, put myself in the shoes of someone who's not me, I guess. But I also get the understanding that this is not some, like, one, we only made this in a week. If I spent the next, like, month working on this, you know, different story. If I, you know, wasn't busy with other things and dedicated my life to just working on this, then also, yeah, there'd be a lot more to it. But yeah, I think overall, I guess that's one thing that's good. When I went into this, I didn't go into this with an idea. Or I think in the first stream, I was like, I have a potential maybe idea. And then it, like, expanded more and whatnot. But, yeah, I'm glad that at least the idea we came up with for this challenge like turned out all right. I'm not hating the game that we ended up with. Definitely a lot that changed from the initial like designs. Like this background color was supposed to kind of look like parchment paper for some reason. That's just something I was playing around with. Oh, are you gonna die? Yeah, there you go. Then yeah, there's some just different level, different mechanics, and blah 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 blah. Anyway, so no. Oh, okay. Interesting that I happen to live from that. That's that's fine, I guess. Oh, there's like 18 levels, which I didn't like plan for there to be 18 and have it be like golf, but yeah, that happened. You're gonna die. Yep. Okay. So one thing with that doing this, making this game kind of maybe had this epiphany with level design is rather than planning whole levels at a time, which is what we kind of start with, and that was like being tricky to kind of figure out how I was gonna do that, when I was gonna introduce certain mechanics and how that was gonna go. Instead of designing whole levels at a time, we designed like level chunks where it's just individual like sliver of gameplay where it's like, oh, this could be an interesting interaction. This could be an interesting way to introduce this concept, or take these two concepts and like combine them in a neat way. And we basically designed all these like quick little like level chunks. And then once we had enough, then we just started combining them. Being like, okay, combine these together, bam, that's a level. Combine these two, that's a level. Some of them were like enough to just be an entire level on their own. Like this idea I just had, like, oh, I want to have a level where you have to follow like a patrol path, and then we just sort of making a random path, and like this, yeah, it turned out well enough, I guess. And this part here, it's like, okay, what hazards can you have to deal with on this sort of patrol path? And this is where you have to like deviate from it and then go back in, I guess. Yeah. So I think even going forward to like the handyman with the unicycle, I think that could be good to do is, yeah, designing levels by here could be an interesting fun bit of gameplay, design a bunch of those, and then yeah. No, this though, with this game we did it in a very rushed way where, because of the time limit, I was trying to like come up with stuff very fast over the course of like one stream, 2 streams kind of. Ideally with that game it'll be like as we're developing, because a bigger game will have a lot more time for me just as we're making it come up with ideas and write them down rather than try to force ideas to happen in a very short time span, I guess. So yeah, hopefully that'll be interesting. Also with that just being a bigger like 3D game, there's just more room for cool ideas, I guess. Although there is a huge difference between having an idea and then actually executing it with all the polish and all the bells and whistles it needs to be cool. But yeah. Also, we're almost done here. So we got big enemies. I like how they turned out. There's like 3 more levels, I think. So we'll finish going through this just for the funsies, and then we'll start the sort of publishing process. What time is it? 9:41? Yep. Okay. Just, yeah, so as I said, gonna be a bit of a shorter stream today just because I'm busy. Barely had enough time, fit in the time to even do this, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. So we're publishing the game and then moving on to other things. It's gonna be a while before we get to working on the handyman with the unicycle, and part of that being on purpose is, with that game being a little bit like of a massive thing I have planned, there are some things where it's like, I know I want X feature in the game, so I've added that to the list of that, 140 list of things I've never done in Unity that I want to learn. And we're basically gonna first have finished making a lot of those things in isolations that I know I want to be part of the game before we even think about going back to working on the game for real. One of those being that I want that game to have actual like human characters, like people, not just, cubes and stuff. So figuring out more, learning a lot more with just dealing with actual human characters in Unity, both from like a Blender side of things and a Unity side of things. So that's also a thing I need to learn better, get better at. I'm gonna be making a bunch of human characters, get more like efficient with it, I guess. But yeah, so that's all stuff to come. I also want to do some things with actually improving some stuff with, oh no, can I get out of this? I don't know. Oh no, I'm dead. Yep, I'm very dead. Very, very dead. Very dead. I want to do some stuff with improving the quality of the stream itself. I have some ideas for, like, actually improving some things with, like, the actual layout of the stream. Hard for me to put what ideas I have into words. I'm still, like, planning some stuff, but that might also be a stream, is me just actually designing some graphics and I don't know to what extent I can experiment with OBS settings while live, so there might be only so much I can do with there. Oh, also, this is the last level where we just let there just be chaos, just enemies and hazards everywhere, and just be like, good luck. All you have to do is just get to the edge, get to the outer ring, and then it like loops around to the top. So this is just like in a ring with, in a gladiatory arena of enemies, survive. And from being on the outside, I can now just watch them all go to their deaths. Oh, so this is the end of the game, which, like, this is fine. This works good enough as just random, like, oh, just have the player going up and have an enemy just for some movement. It's like, whoa, thanks for playing. Well, I guess. So that's this. I believe the restart button works. We tested it yesterday. In theory, it shouldn't have broken from then till now. So woo, that was the game. Nothing super, like, amazingly spectacular, but I mean, it had more length than I think I initially thought it would. I didn't know how many levels we're gonna have time to design. It got to like day 7. I'm like, oh no, are we gonna be able to finish actually making levels in time? I don't know, but we did, so good. What was I saying? I was saying something. Yeah, so I have some ideas of kind of changing my setup just a little bit. We'll see how. So my CSM I want to experiment with that. I don't know how they're going to actually go. Could go better or worse, or like we go back to just how everything looking right now. But you know, we'll see. I have some ideas. And then another thing on top of that is, so I make YouTube videos. That's a thing. I want to make more of them. Oh, that's actually as far as like near goals and far goals. Far goal is get back to working on the Hangman with Unicycle eventually. A more near goal is, so I got back into streaming, but doing, the stuff with making this game. I now want to kind of gear back towards making more of the YouTube content that I want to make, which is Unity tutorials. Well, so there's 2 branches of content that I'm kind of wanting to make going forward, and that's, well, maybe 3. 3 maybe. One is just I want to make Unity tutorials. That's a thing that I've made 14 of so far, which that number feels so small for like how long I've been doing that, and how like some videos have taken more or less effort. One specifically, that my latest one, this like submarine tutorial that took so much work. But I'm happy with how that turned out and whatnot. So I want to make more of those, and I have some ideas, a whole nother list of just potential tutorial ideas and stuff like that. But I'm playing around with like the presentation of like making them and whatnot. So to some degree, some of working on that will be on stream, but there's only so much I can do with that because I need OBS to actually record them, and then like I write scripts for them now, and I don't know if I want to stream just writing a script because like that'll be a lot harder to do. Just wondering if switching from game development to Unity or Godot is a good idea. Is GDevelop, is that like a game engine or something? Let me just GDevelop. So I mean, a little hard for me to give suggestions when I'm just learning that this exists. Actually, I might have seen this before, maybe. So I personally have only ever used Unity as far as game development stuff goes. 99% Unity as far as game development stuff goes. I've always been interested in the idea of trying out other game engines. I just don't think I have time for that right now. I don't have time to learn Unreal at the moment. I already have too many things that I want to be doing that I don't have enough time for. But I mean, that could be its own whole thing. Is at one point I have a stream where it's like, here's just a stream where all I'm doing is just figuring out Unreal. Let's struggle together. That could be a thing. Even other 3D modeling software like Maya, like I use Blender. I use Blender because it's free. I use Unity because it's free. I think, well, okay, there's other game engines that are free, but like, but back when I started eons ago, Unity was kind of seemed like the go-to choice a little bit. I've been using Unity for something like 8 years. I keep meaning to actually calculate exactly how long it's been so I can say the proper number of years, but it's like 8 years-ish, like off by like 1 or 2 years maybe, something like that. Yeah, anyway. So, but yeah, so I've never used GDevelop before. This looks like a primarily, so I could be mistaken, but to this, from what I'm seeing of screenshots, a lot of these are 2D games. So my guess is that this is like a more 2D focused game engine. I think Godot is as well. Does Godot have 3D capabilities? Actually, no, I wanted to say that it had very rudimentary 3D stuff, but oh wait, no, okay, maybe I'm just thinking of something else entirely. Never mind. Okay, I must have been thinking of something completely different. Yeah, I'm seeing lots of 3D stuff here. So I've never used Godot either, or Unreal. Actually, I experimented with Unreal for an afternoon and like could barely do anything in it, but like that's like my own fault. More like I didn't do like any Googling or whatever, and it definitely probably takes a different like mindset than a different mindset of I can't just apply Unity tactics and expect it to work. Like I couldn't figure out how to properly get input to like get a cube to move. I was trying to do the equivalent of the rollerball tutorial in Unreal without any prior knowledge or Googling, and I couldn't do it. But I experimented with it for very little time. Didn't give up quickly because I was impatient, just because I was busy. I forgot, I had other stuff I had to do. But at some point, that could be its own interesting just stuff. Because I'm interested in the idea of widening my tool set, I guess, of things that I know. It's just it's a time investment to do that. I like Unity. There are my number one reason for using Unity, more than just the game engine itself, is the programming language. I definitely can say that C# is my favorite programming language, far above any others. Okay, so actually, I guess that's an asterisk. Okay, that's cheating. It's like C# in relation to Unity, with all the Unity-based functions, with the starts and the updates and all that. This is where I'm in my element when it comes to game design and game development. I am, so as far, even though I try to do different things with game development, I'm a programmer at heart. I'm a programmer way more than I'm a 3D modeler or a level designer or anything like that. So this is my number one reason for why I guess I use Unity compared to other things. With Unreal, you use C++, which is I don't know how much I love that idea, having to do with a lot more memory management. But I know it has this like blueprint system where you can code, but just with like nodes that you connect and stuff. But I also couldn't really get the hang of that when I was attempting to use it. I know Unity also has recently introduced a similar kind of thing, but I've never really used that. Because you still gotta memorize what all the nodes do and how to properly use them. That still just is a whole new thing to learn anyways. Yeah, so I mean, you can experiment with different game engines and whatnot. If you need tutorials, I gotta come. No, yeah, so even like, the first tutorial I made was just this Unity Basics tutorial, but it's like super old, and it's like not my worst one, but it's not like great. I thought it was a good idea at the time to like, I purposely, so I didn't record with camera, I was just like the Unity scene and then some light editing, but then going back and forth between like game and code. But I had a script that I was reading off of, but I purposely did it like a robotic voice. Like, now we're going to do this, and now we're gonna do this, and now this is doing this. I talk very robotically because I thought it was a good idea, but no. I nowadays talk more like in more human-y, I guess. Rather have my personality in there, I guess. Yeah, even still, writing scripts is hard, especially scripts with like tutorial-y things and trying to make that interesting hard. But with anything that's difficult, practice is how you get better at such things, so that's what I'm hoping to do. But anyways, so where I was going with that is that, yeah, I want to make more tutorials of different topics. I even, like, I think most of my tutorials I would call, other than like the first one that's like a Unity Basics, most of my tutorials I'd say are fall in like an intermediate category. I do, I guess, want to experiment more with like making super beginner level tutorials or making more, I mean, advanced stuff is hard because it requires me to actually like be super knowledgeable of stuff. I don't want to give vastly incorrect information or whatever, or be like, here's the best way of doing this thing, and then discover like, oh no, that's like the worst possible way to do that thing. Oh no, what was I thinking? Yeah, so anyway, that's still stuff that I'm planning on the side that will eventually be stream stuff. I think most of the planning won't be stream content, more of the working on stuff, because when I make tutorials, I gotta make stuff in Unity. Usually I don't do a tutorial what's like, here's the awake function and here's how it works. I don't do tutorials about concepts. I do tutorials that teach concepts, but by making a thing, especially with game development stuff. Like, a game that has this feature, let's make that feature, is kind of the way that I want to tackle it. Like, one that I want to make at some point is like, if you had a stealth game and like patrolling guards with like a line of sight, and I wanted the tutorials so that have like part of a game, like a scene that has part of a game where maybe like a character runs past this like a guard or something with like a line of sight, and it should be that like when they're in the light, something happens. And then the tutorial itself can just be, here's how you do cone casts, so like ray cast stuff, so you can detect if something is in this like cone-based area or whatever. So teaching that concept with making a thing out of it is kind of the way that I want to do that. But I just want to make more of them. I haven't made enough, and I'd like to do that more, but also make them interesting and funny and whatever. So there's that. I said there's 3 types of content I want to be doing. There's that, because then I'm going to be making like a lot of Unity kind of things that hopefully visually look good or whatever. My game, The Hangman with Unicycle, and more stuff past that, I want to actually have, you know, cutscenes and stuff and do a lot more like visual stuff that looks good. And since I'm doing that anyway, I want to practice making little cutscenes in Unity just to better do that. Even just like good at the cinematography of like flying around a Unity scene or whatever. I might be making some like little animated shorts, but rendered in Unity rather than something like Blender. I have done, you know, some Blender work. I made like I have an intro to my YouTube channel and outro and all that. Those were made in made and rendered in Blender. But I want to do more stuff in Unity and get better at like Unity-based lighting and post-processing and all that. So making animated shorts that are purposely rendered in entirely in Unity can be good practice for me, just getting better at that kind of thing. So there's that, and then as I make games like this, or the Hangman Unicycle, just making videos where I just ramble about like, here's how I made this. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna make a video out of like this whole 9-day thing. Part of me doesn't want to, because I'd rather the time that I would spend to do that, I'd rather put that time towards the other things. I think bare minimum, the next video that goes on my channel will be a mini tutorial of some kind, just ironing out exactly what that's going to be and what that's going to look like. But once I do, then working on it will be stream content, I guess. I do have a kind of a list of over here. I made another Trello board of actually, let me bring up the one for this project. It's still just called Small Scope Game because I hadn't named it yet. So well, this is the thing for this game where it's like published game, and then we got this. Each of these items can be expanded, especially this like level transition one. And then just polish, like, what does that mean? You know, we'll figure that out. But stuff of potential stream plans. I literally made this earlier today, so like I'm still adding stuff. This is more for me to plan out, like, okay, here's a bunch of stuff that I want to stream. Let me figure out like the actual order, the specific order that these things are going to happen. And you know, this is the one we're currently doing. Wow. Anyways, so yeah, is that maybe enough rambling from me? I should get to what we're actually doing, because I don't have all the time in the world. So let me finish what this stream is meant to be about, and then I can do all the rambling afterwards. So all we're doing real quick is just uploading game to itch.io. That's it. I don't want to push this off too far. So I called this, what did I call it? No Time to Think? No Time to Think. Which I'd like if a name actually had something to do with that. It's like grid-based movement, but whatever, it's fine. There's nothing on here that's like I wouldn't want to show, right? Probably not. So the main thing, actually, sorry, two things that need to be done before we even go too far into this is cover. I guess I want to make a cover image. Normally I'd just be like, take a random screenshot from the game. Let's try to like actually make a cover image that is the size that they want, which is probably going to just be, it's not going to be super complicated, but like make that, and then also the thing down here. I think with this game, the perfect icon image for the down here thing is just the player cube as they currently are. Maybe like I have an idea. Okay, so I have an idea for something slightly cooler. The initial idea was basically it would just be this, either this with the border and it like just cuts off as a square, or literally just this with the transparency. I have the idea of, might look just slightly cooler, and I'm just curious of how it'll like look in practice, of this. Take the cube and just one of these grids and have all of this being transparent pixels. I'm curious what that'll look like having a taskbar icon or like a desktop shortcut where it has like this transparency in the middle. I'm curious if that'll look good or absolutely terrible. So let's try that just for funsies. So first I just want to double check what the resolution of these are supposed to be. Like, actually, wait. Before I even go any further, let me. I believe in Unity, if I go to build settings, go to player settings, it's like somewhere buried in these menus that you put in. It's this. Oh right, it will automatically like downscale stuff. Right. Okay, so I don't gotta worry about that too much, other than just that it's a perfect box. I mean, I guess let's make it this, like make it the largest size, and then let this handle the downscaling, unless that's a problem, unless it like doesn't downscale good and then it looks bad. But let's just try this. So Photoshop, let's give it a new, I already forget what those numbers were. They were 1,000 and something. 1,024. Yep, okay. 1,024 by 1,024. I don't expect this to be the most interesting, riveting streams. I'm just gonna be, yeah, messing around doing this stuff. But I do by the next one, then maybe we'll be doing stuff that's cooler. I think the overall quality of my streams is directly tied to what I'm working on specifically. So eventually when I get to the point where it's like, yeah, we're making this big, the Handmaiden with the Unicycle, we're making this game, it already has a couple levels, look at all this cool polish and stuff that's there. Now we're just, doing some small thing, but like with already having this already cool thing made, that'll be when the stream looks cooler. Just by what I'm working on being way more interesting than just doing some simple photoshopping or making a grid-based thing. As a joke, you should change all the materials in the game to be metallic, and then you can say it's polished. I love that. How far away April Fool's is like a long time away. How about this? If I'm not done the that's too far away, but if I'm not done the polished version by next April, that's what I upload next. Is we made it polished and just make everything shiny. I like that. That's hilarious. Or I'll put that in my back pocket for even just with the Handyman with the Unicycle, doing something with that. Have like a cheat code. If you have a game that has a bunch of cheat codes, have one of them just like turn on polish. You think you'd make it look better, but no, it's just shiny. But like purposely way overly shiny. Anyways, what this is just game icon or something. I don't know. So I mean, because this isn't even like a sprite, I guess I am just going to now zoom in a lot. I'm on a 4K monitor, so we'll see if this works. I'm just gonna try taking a screenshot and then seeing if we can work with it. Cutting out like the background bits. Aha! It's bigger than if I had to scale it up, then that wouldn't be a good sign, but the fact that I have to scale it down means that this is probably like decent enough. Because again, there's also the extra thing of like, this is a small nothing game, it doesn't matter that much. If I was actually designing like the cover art for the Handmaiden with the Unicycle or whatever, I would definitely be putting a lot more care and consideration to like every minute detail. It would matter significantly more, but in this case, it doesn't matter that much. I would like this to be perfectly centered if like that. Okay, let me just, I'll get rid of the background and then I can resize it more. Buttons, okay. Bleh. Is this gonna work nicely enough anyway? Oh, what the? Why do the player's eyes look like that and not being like a pure white? Is that just because of the... They always been like that? I think in the context of like the color grading on this and like from the distance, it doesn't look that bad. But in isolation, I feel like these should be like a pure white. So I might do that a little bit of overriding real quick. Yeah, I think that's just a little bit better. Okay, so then also delete background. But I like the idea of experimenting with this and this. Like, if the idea with the grid doesn't work, then we go with the backup is just the player on its own. But I'm just curious. I mean, that's a thing that we do here is just experiment with ideas and see if they're any good. So yeah, now I just gotta actually line this up properly. I mean, okay. If I line up any two, then in theory the grid should be the same size all around. Well, I mean, okay. Oh, right. If I move this over, that's gonna come back. I mean, I'll fix that in a sec. But like, yeah, it doesn't matter that much. I guess actually, I don't know if this is even gonna match up over here, if that's symmetrical or not. Like the left. I mean, and if it's not the worst thing in the world. But I mean, it'll bug me till the end of time. Whatever. Okay, top down. Does that look like close enough? No. This should be. Down just a couple more. And again, up one more, and then it's probably good enough. As long as if it's close enough, then it's fine. Okay, so now the side has a little bit of more background that I just need to get rid of. Yeah. Okay. Bleh. Don't mind my lack of Photoshop skills. 1 thing I made way back in the day. This was a school project where I photoshopped this together. It's like a fake movie poster thing. Me with green screen. Actually, it wasn't green screen. This was like just against like the sky. You can see actually a bit of the blue in my hair because it, didn't do it quite right. But yeah, movie poster. Wow, called Out There. Me like flying out of some multi-dimensional portal, and there's like space and some random futuristic city. I guess like I could pretend this. I mean, this was tricky to like do, but I mean a lot of the actual background stuff was just pulling stuff off Google Images, so I didn't like make all of it. Fun fact: the original shirt here is blue. I made it green because like a lot of the space stuff was blue, and it was just an additional like edit that I made. Alright, don't fall over. Yeah, so that's a thing. Okay, let's put this in. I don't actually know. We're just gonna go in there, and that's like good enough. Oh, I need to. It is important that I don't break the actual game by doing this. Oh, it's nice to see that you haven't changed much. Both like my skill not. Wait, what? You mean from before I streamed till now, or the fact that I look the same as I did? How many years ago was that? That was grade 12, and I'm now a year out of university. So yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah. But yeah, no, I am basically the same. My hair is the same. Yeah, that actually predates Cyberchroma being a thing. Here's a fun thing, actually. Fun bit of lore. Both you jumping, exploding something. So actually, this did inspire the logo. That was actually on purpose. Initially I used this as reference for the pose of my logo, actually, and then like changed it slightly just with how it was. And then actually, this is like flying out of some hole in the thing. It's like flying out of an explosion. Which that's another thing that's on my list. I want to redo that logo. Not necessarily redo it from scratch. I mean, if it's do blendering from scratch perhaps, but like it's still gonna be the same general concept. I just basically want a different explosion in the background that's not so orange. I don't love orange as a color. My favorite color is like cyan, like blues and stuff. So I'd rather, if I can like tweak it and make it look more like this like sciencey chemicals explosion, where then the background gets to be more like blues or greens or just not orange, or not as much anyway. That's stuff I'm gonna experiment with. I have some ideas for that. It'd be cool if even that was rendered out of Unity as a better showcase of like, hey, I can make stuff that looks graphically good even in Unity. Anyways, but the thing at the bottom here, there's no way you can read this. No. Just having like the random like movie credits or whatever. I was like, Shifting Perspective presents an innovation with Fusion Incorporated and Innovators Production. Those were all potential names that could have been what Cyberchroma is now. A lot of them existed already, was the main thing. But back when I was like, what do I call my like? Because I was making indie game stuff here. It's like, when I read this, like, what do I call myself with that? Like, I have no idea. But like, Shifting Perspective was one potential thing. I don't know. Anyway, but then that didn't happen that way. And so fun fact, more fun fact. Another thing that relates this to my current name and whatnot is this was not the original idea for this poster when I was initially making it. The initial thing was a very different idea that I couldn't pull off, and so this was like what it was tweaked into. I was making a game at the time called Washed Up Wizard, which technically is a game that I have released on Steam or whatever. I made it as like a group project with some other people. And it's not like it has flaws, to say the least. But the idea of this was going to be like, as if it was like a movie poster for what that game was. So it was going to be like Washed Up Wizard the movie. So it actually was going to be me in like a wizard outfit flying away from an explosion. So even though this isn't an explosion, but it inspired my logo that it is an explosion, the original thing for this was going to be flying away from an explosion. Like, it's a guy who's like a bad wizard. He's like bad at being a wizard. He's washed up, so he's, I don't know, did something that he's flying away from an explosion that he caused, I guess. That was the initial poster idea. But then I just couldn't Photoshop me into wizard clothes. So I, especially because stuff with the school project, how like big the file size of this stuff had to be. Just finding stuff on Google Images of like clothes that like were big enough in file size. Yeah, that did not work so well. So then I changed it so that I didn't actually Photoshop clothes onto myself, other than I changed the color of the shirt. And the flying out of a portal and like whatever sci-fi nonsense you can pretend that this is. Lab guard versus lab coat. Yeah, so actually this was before I had the lab coat. Yeah, I mean, so like in, when you're making an actual movie, or I mean, ideally I would have been, if I wanted me to be flying away from wizard clothes, I would somehow have done that in real life, not CGI'd it or whatever, and whatever. But part of the assignment was to make, this was an assignment to learn to do Photoshop skills. So an initial idea was, hey, I'll Photoshop myself into a different outfit, like for the sake of the assignment, for the sake of doing Photoshop stuff. But then I couldn't do it. More because of not being able to find good images that match the angle. I wasn't a professional Photoshop-y person, but whatever. Eventually, we make Washed Up Wizard the movie. Super far off idea on the tail end of this super massive list. That game, I'd like to potentially remake it someday. I say remake it as in take the bare bones concept and make a completely different game out of it. But small steps. Anyways, got very off topic. Where were we? So I made an icon thingy. Let's try putting it in. Here, it's still a Photoshop file. I don't think it's gonna like that. I actually don't know if it matters which of these it's set to. I know I've made icons before. Actually no, it's not gonna be on my background, but Handman with Unicycle, I just put, I made a little thing with one of these. There's some things that I've never done before in Unity that I wanted to learn. There's some things that I've just haven't done in so long, I just completely forget how to do. Okay, so that's that. These might be too thin now that I see it in practice. I don't know, but you know what? We'll see. We'll see. I'm doing this to play around with ideas, and if it doesn't work, then we can undo it. I'm not. I don't have to do this. Why did this not do? Okay, I don't know. I didn't do the first time. Whatever. Yeah. So. Woohoo. Well, okay, I'm not gonna see it here. It was basically just seeing in the bottom there. Yeah, I like it. I think just the cube on its own is it would be fine, but a little generic, I guess. Having just a little extra bit of the lines, I don't know. I just think that adds a little bit more creativity to it, I guess. In theory, it might look different when it's more polished and blah blah blah. But I weirdly like the having the invisibleness in there too. I like the lines. Yeah, me too. I wasn't sure if it was gonna show up well. No, here it's super small. If I actually then took the thing and had it be a hold on. If we look at it in the other places that this goes, it's here. I mean, if you can barely see the lines, you can still see the cube itself. This doesn't matter that much. Let me see it actually, the place where it's biggest. Great shortcut, and then actually put that on my desktop. Hold on. Blah. Hold on. Just blah. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine there. And this is where it kind of matters the most. You're seeing the things over here. I guess it matters more than down here a little bit. Yeah, whatever. And again, for a random little indie, for a thing that's not that big, not that important, it's fine. It doesn't need to be the most amazing, spectacular, well thought out thing. But I do I don't know, something I like about how even the middle of it's transparent. I don't know, there's something about that I'm that's slightly neat, I guess. Anyways, that's enough of that. That's step one. Yeah, that's See, I wasn't sure initially when I started the stream, oh, just uploading the game. Is that gonna take 5 minutes and then that'll be it? No, turns out when you ramble and get off topic this much, then no, things can take as long as you want it to. So that's that. I guess next thing is a cover image, I guess. We're not making a trailer for this. In theory, so there's so many things we're not doing with this because it's a small game, we don't care to, whatever. Handyman with a Unicycle, when we get back to that, in theory, that goes the full mile. I make trailers. I make proper, actually photoshopped things. In theory, that's where that goes. This is the super small, bite-sized version of any of that. Also, that will have actual more time spent on it rather than trying to whip up something in 5 minutes. In theory, and that'll probably have a lot more. I mean, there's two things. One, that'll have a lot more probably going back and forth between different ideas, you know, sketching something on paper and being like, well, let's maybe do this, and then making it. But then also, that being a much bigger game, there'll just be a lot more to make a concept art stuff out of it, or more make cover art out of. Like, there'll be more environments and, like, actually having 3D models of characters that I can, you know, pose and stuff in theory. Like, there's a lot more that I can do with that, just having a bigger game, more ideas than Cube Town that we have over here. I'll call this game Rush Cube. Yeah, it's a name. What about Cube Rush? Well, I don't know. Like, maybe. I don't know, I'm super indecisive with naming anything ever. The fact that I was able to get the handyman with a unicycle is a name for that I like, and I don't think will change. I have like, beyond just being a name that sounds good or whatever, I have little reasons of why I like, you know, some names more than others with a lot of things. I like a name that can, like, one, not sound generic. Sometimes a longer name can potentially sound less generic than just like a one-word thing. But then also, and one, a name that makes you go, what? Excuse me? What did I just hear? That can be good. So handyman with a unicycle. It's like, unicycle? What? Excuse me? And then also a name that can, to some degree, say something about the gameplay. They have a little, like, inkling of an idea of what you're getting yourself into can also be good. So, yeah. And the fact that the whole point of that game is the unicycle-based movement stuff, and the handyman repairing stuff. That works well, I guess. A better name than, like, Repair the Fair. I don't know. That's way more generic. It's just how I'll reference this game in the future. Fair enough. Yeah, why not? I mean, even the random name I came up with, it's like No Time to Think. Like, that could change. In theory, when I make the more polished version of this, I could actually try to think more of the actual name. Maybe something better will come to me. But, you know, whatever. We'll see. Anyways, what was I doing with this? This needed a specific image size of the recommended, which we'll use. If I put a game on Steam, then that requires a lot more images to make, with, like, the store page and, like, just all the different things. So that's a whole separate thing that'll be a lot more of a pain of just like, oh, I gotta have basically the same image, but, like, cropped in, like, 15 different ways. So yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that. This is, cover image, yeah, whatever. Which, even these, I don't know if they should, or this should be necessarily saved in the Unity project, but we're just gonna save it with the other sprites for now, just because it's easier that way. So, cover image, what do we do? What like... I mean, I think the one idea is to just take some level, whatever is the most visually interesting level that has, like, more than one mechanic going on. Basically just taking a screenshot mid-gameplay and then, like, just that's it. Whoop-de-doo. I think I like the, like, if I could just be like, oh, you know, it's the cube and some grid and, like, that's it. Ooh, mystery. But no, I'd like it to have a bit more, at least showing, like, hey, at least there should be an enemy in it. A player and an enemy minimum, I think, should be in it. I've had another brow recluse in my bathroom earlier, just gave you all that information. Oh no. I don't know what specific type that is, what specific type of bug that is. I would need to see a picture. Oh, I'm gonna, I mean, I could say arachnophobia warning and show it on screen, but I guess some people don't want to see this. Yeah. I've had a lot of bug problems here, lots of bug problems. So yeah, that's fun. Actually, fun fact: I'm gonna be potentially moving soon. Not giving. Let me dox my location right now, but no. So I mean, that's just gonna be a thing that's gonna make me extra super busy. That might mean that some streams don't happen, but and then eventually, new background, new background, new me. But no. Yeah. So yeah, fun. It's one of the only spiders in North America that's venom is bad enough to kill people. Oh, that's an additional piece of information that I did not know prior to that sentence. Oh no, that's extra bad. Yikes. I haven't had problems with, like, being bitten by bugs, more just finding them of different varying sizes. Yeah, extra not good. That's yeah, fun. At least it's not Australia where everything will kill you. But not really, but you know. Woo, stereotyping. Anyway, yeah, just make the cover art image just this. You don't get gameplay, you just get background. Even if it doesn't kill you, the venom causes necrosis, which just rots your flesh away and leads to amputation. Amazing! Spectacular! Fantabulous! Amazing! Yeah. Okay, I don't know, like, which of these levels is the best, like, showcase of... See, now here is where we enter my extreme overthinking of absolutely anything possible, is like... What's gonna be... I like... I mean, see, the problem also with this, I can't just necessarily... I'm gonna have to actually, you know, play the game in a way to, like, make a situation happen and then basically take a screenshot of it. That's gonna be a whole issue in and of itself. I can, and ideally, I have to take it, like, the right frame as well. Imagine if I were to be, you know, with the handyman with Unicycle, if I wanted to make some gameplay situation happen, I could write some custom code to, like, force something to happen in a way. We're not gonna do that here. I'm just gonna hope that I can get what I need to. I could, you know, fake stuff with, like, take this, put an enemy in it to, like, make a thing happen. But I think I want something that actually happens in the game. What about, like... I can't easily... So, actually, wait, I can... Right, the fact that I can... Right. My input is not, like... Once I have them going in a direction, my input is not required. So that I can, Oh yeah, I forgot that you go super high. I could then, at a point like this, then go and... select. Go frame by frame, and then I have a point here where, like, everything's good. I could do something like this, where it's like, you get the walls, you get that there's holes, you get an enemy, you get the cracked arrows, get the goal. Like, do I want this? I don't know. I feel like I want to show that the fire hazards and, like, the springs maybe, but that's not, like, mandatory. I even, like, the image doesn't have to be like this. I could, it'd be hard to line up. I could have the image be on its side just for extra visual flair, even though it doesn't happen in game, but, like, the screenshot could just be this. Maybe having two enemies is something. It's like, oh, why is that ball over there? Let me maybe zoom out a tiny bit and then, like, get slightly more than I need so that I can crop it down. And also I have to account for, like, Unity things in the top, like this being here and stuff. Yeah, so let me just, I can experiment with this. That's another thing, I can take multiple, I can, like, put this, see what this looks like, get another, get a couple, and then sort of decide on what's best. Like, even just, I like the holes being there. You know, like, this doesn't have to be too overthought, but this shows, like, because I mean, just one thing, the red fire hazards, that's an example of something that's, like, not really that polished. This is more, like, acceptable. I don't know if I love you seeing three things. If you visually see this without knowing the game is, you might think, like, oh, that's a cracked tile, or if you stand out, it'll break, when it's actually not what it is. But and I didn't happen to get it on a turn where the boulder was coming down, but, you know, whatever. Which I could actually have it be slightly more screen, so it's less. I like me in the player, but then, like, two enemies. So we can say, but say, like, this is a potential idea, and then now just go take. We can go find more potentially. You should get a shot where you're looking at an enemy. So I could do that, but I think more of the gameplay is about running away from enemies or leading them into hazards. So I almost think that because of that, it should be more like you're running away, because most of the what you're doing is the running away more than chasing. But, like, I mean, like, I don't have to copy stuff that happens in the game. I can do it that way if I wanted to. There's no rules here. I don't know. I'm unsure. I also actually, so for the screenshot here, I don't have to take this on an angle. I can take a screenshot and turn it in Photoshop. So I probably should be doing that, just so I also don't have things be slightly off. I mean, I mean, I could take a screenshot like this, but this doesn't represent the game very good. So yeah. I almost just, yeah. Like, what's the thing that? So there's this level as well, whereas this chase happens. I could do. If I do this, and then get prepared to hop forward. The fact that the spring's gonna be there. Actually, hold on. Let me maybe go. I don't know. So I just want to see if there's something with this that I can do. Just the fact that there's like a lot of stuff going on. If the enemies can like be closer. If I recreate this situation, but actually have the enemy. I mean, I can cheat. Oh, not like that. I can't. What? Are you not? Oh, you're that one. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could. I mean, they could be going up. I don't know if they should be going up or over. Actually, well, no. Maybe I do go over. Actually, I'm gonna recreate that situation, but I'm gonna have more kind of wasted moves, so the enemies are more like right behind me. Let's just see how that works. Whoa, actually, okay, I need to not do that. So I'm gonna go up. Whoa, okay, hold on. Hold on. Bash my head against this a few turns, and then go this way, and then maybe it's like, oh no! You get more of that being closed in on kind of feeling if enemies are coming from two directions, maybe. And I could have the frame when they're in the middle of moving. I just feel like the squished doesn't look the best in a freeze frame. So maybe take a screenshot that's like further out than I think I need, and then actually no. Let me just do the full, like, even with the hand there and the thing up there, which I don't want, but. I don't know. This is like, yeah, where me at my, ooh, super indecisive. Ooh, actually, huh. Wait, why is this already turned? I didn't. Wait, is it, or this? Oh, wait, did I not? Oh, I did. I didn't get the image that I wanted. But I am just realizing the idea of just like, it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of levels. It can just be this effectively. So let me just keep that as separate additional other idea, but also give me the screenshot that I meant to take. That I could do that same idea with the few surrounding blocks being this stuff, maybe. So I mean, this is almost a shot of looking at an enemy, so that's a thing. So okay, let's mess around. I kind of like it being slightly on an angle, but I don't know if 3 is too much, but. No. I like the tilt. Me too. I think it just adds some extra pizzazz. Yeah, okay. I think the player either more in the center or like, yeah. You don't get like the holes as much as I maybe would have liked. Let me test the more zoomed out idea. Okay, this maybe, I don't know, with the enemy there specifically, I don't know if I love that as much. And also, this enemy being on the green thing, I don't know if that works super well. I mean, with this, I could potentially modify. Wah. If I moved you up and I moved you down, because this, I could pretend that this is still a situation that could happen. I don't want to fake, like, I know it doesn't matter, but if I moved this here, it's like, that's not a real level that actually happens. I just don't want to do that. I'm just, Rather, like, if I take a screenshot of something that happens in the game, but moving an enemy over with the way that enemies move, it's like, yeah, that could happen, depending on if I had moved differently. Let's just try this and see if we get better results. No, I wasn't done. Whoa. I mean, I could just be like, here's enemies, but no, the player probably should be a thing. Should the player be 1 block away? I can't move the enemy over there because the hole. If I move the player there, I don't necessarily want the enemy to be, or the player to be hugging a wall. But I do think I think the player does look slightly better moving to the side rather than moving up. Oh, okay. Well. Oh. Ooh. This has some interesting things. This has the grid, the fact that the grid can end, a little bit of the red. It being cut off is actually kind of, I don't know, something that I kind of like. And then the walls here being kind of cut off. Then the enemy, like 2 enemies, before I was like, okay, maybe 3 is too much. But with one being barely on screen, like it's about to come down, and this one barely coming up. Kind of something I like about this. I'm gonna sort of keep this sort of snapshot. I'm gonna duplicate this layer. Where's... Let me... What the what? Why is control seeing and control Ving not like... How do you... Why am I forgetting how to easily duplicate? I should be seeing... Duplicate layer, there you are. I don't know what hotkey is doing that as a... What? Okay, what's going on? Something is happening weird with my buttons that isn't... Oh, it's because you're like that far out. That's why I'm not seeing you. Okay. I like that one. Maybe show less of the wall on the left. Sure. I can also, like, I can experiment with both ways of tilt, then moving up, moving down. Actually, what? Moving, if I tilt it up, I don't get that enemy at all, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, because there's either, the player can be the focus of the shot, like, in the middle, or something else can. Why did you undo? Okay. Photoshop's going against me. And then again, I can still play with the zoom. I can have there be a lot more blocks, but I almost like the zoomed in, like you're barely seeing any blocks kind of idea. Maybe that's too much of a tilt. And then to be a huge tilt. This is flat. It can be tilted down just a little bit. You need to be diagonal. I mean, it could be this, and you get the few things. Let me sort of snapshot this, and then just we have a few things I can go back and forth between. Although now if I'm scaling it up, that might not be great, but whatever. Yeah, so less of that wall could look like something like this. I say I don't properly show like the holes as much as I would like to, but even just this, it could just be this. This also is a possibility, maybe. Wait, well, oh, because I zoomed in and out, I can see the pixels of that so much. Is that really just because if I decided that this is the, well, even that is very pixely. Well, right, makes sense because if I did want to go with that, I can take a new, better image if I decide that I want to be that zoomed in, which maybe I do. So let me just get that in there. Yeah, now that yeah, just slightly better. Okay. Yeah. Welcome to. I kind of like the. I don't know. I thought maybe the whole eyes being on screen, but all of this enemy doesn't have to be on screen. Even just something like this could work. You got the little bit of the red. You got some of the walls. You got the. Actually, well, do I want enough of the grid that you see that there's more grid down there? I don't think you need that enemy. But the fact that this ends, I kind of like. Make it okay. Get all of the eye and screen. Because this doesn't need to matter too much. Like this isn't that. Me putting the game on HDI doesn't actually matter that much. It was just more like it was more of like the bonus thing. But also, I mean, a little bit practice like this looks fine. Yeah, exactly. I don't need to overthink this. Let me just. Whatever. Like this can work. I like that I was at least able to get like a better screenshot. That. I mean, is this also fine? Like, it's probably fine. Where did I here? The eyes look fine and like normally white, even though this. I think this still has the eyes. And the other thing that I corrected, but whatever. Let's try this. That's the other thing. I should be seeing this like in practice. I'm trying to pretend that, like, imagine what's gonna look like on the page. Which I'm not gonna go to play mode just yet because. Yeah. Where did you just? Wait, where did I save you? What? Oh, at the right. Can this keep? Yeah, no, I always press OK to that with it. I should actually probably just properly have it just be like, yes, do that. I don't know if this is gonna be funky. Oh wait, right. I don't actually. Okay, I don't need this in the Unity thing, but whatever. Let me just and then like will you, if I try to upload you a PSD file, are you gonna like work? Let's find out, and then if not, then I'll, you know, actually properly export it as a, nah, you need your other file types. Okay. Quick export, where's like, why am I blind to the word export? Okay, JPEG, this should be a JPEG, right? JPEG, yes. What happened to, yeah, 630 by 500 is what it wanted. I guess that's what we're doing. Why are you trying to save there of all places? We'll save you in the Unity project, which is over, you're just gonna, okay, for now, I'm just gonna throw you in with the rest of the sprites, because it doesn't matter. But for, like, an actual proper thing, I would, not do that. I would have it in a proper other folder. That's fine. Again, I don't need to care that much. Do I care about having screenshots? I don't want to make more. There's also, this is like the not super polished version. Like when I make the proper polished version, in theory, I would be putting more effort into this. How do you change, like, you can change the background color. I don't actually, why am I not seeing? Or no, you have to like, blah, words. I have to upload the actual exe. Let me just do that. That's an easy step. Blah. Most of the point of the stream was to just, you can see me do the Ren, like the visuals, the car bar or whatever. I have to do the other things. Blah. And, no time to think. Wait, is this a problem that, I forget if this has issues with spaces and if this should be like, or like what's the more like standard form? Should this be no time to think, like squished together like this is? Probably, right? Wait, did I also? I didn't. I just put in the exe. I have to actually wait. Upload files. I have to have this be the zip, the zip of the thing. Doesn't need screenshots. Just tell them play the game and make their own. Haha. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna make this one change. So now I'm curious of. Now I'm just looking at other games and kind of what they, or other things, what the things that have spaces versus not spaces and what standard is. Again, for this it doesn't matter that much, but I care more for so-called like real, like this is like small fries preparing for like the real thing, I guess. I think I might just quickly, if I launch Steam real quick, I'm just curious of, I just took a look at a few random Steam games that I have installed and look at whether the EXE has, I mean also, my EXE has an exclamation mark in it. It maybe shouldn't have that, but it, I'm just now curious of what the common thing is. Well, if I look at a modern game versus an old game, then like, that's also gonna be different, because I imagine like there is no like mandatory thing. Okay, well that doesn't help. I have the Spyro Reignited trilogy. That's just I want to find something that's specifically multiple words. Super Meat Boy, I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, you're just singular, like you're squished together. Okay. Binding of Isaac. What are you? Okay, yeah, fine, fair enough. Beat Saber, what are you? You have a space! They can exist! Okay. This doesn't matter. Look at a couple more just for funsies. The game doesn't have a proper EXE, that doesn't help. Okay, I'm looking for, I need to find specifically names that are more than one word. That doesn't help. Okay, whatever. You know what? We're just gonna keep it as is, and it's fine. I saw a bunch of things that didn't have spaces, but I saw one that also did have spaces, and that's enough for me to just keep it as is. An exclamation mark, why not? That's fine. So upload files. This does need to be a .exe, I believe. So we'll take this. I'll compromise and have the exe called No Time to Think. Zip. Is this the, I also haven't uploaded a game to itch in quite a while, so I forget if this is the how this is supposed to be done. You just upload the zip file, or if it like should be. I never tested this on like it's for Windows. Sorry, Mac users. Would this wouldn't work on an Apple computer. I can't easily test that at the moment, but if I just leave this unchecked, then people can try, and if they can, they can. If I check this but not these, I don't know if it'll like not show up at all. Whatever. Oh god, I don't want to read the description right now. Ugh. Maybe I'll come back to that. I'll do that on my own another time. Copy stuff from some of my rambling on like my Discord or whatever. Yeah, so I made this. How do you adjust the background thing? I think I have to go save and view page as a draft, and then now I can edit the theme. Which I guess I just matched the like aesthetics of the roughly the aesthetics of this. Can I? No color picker. But I'm not looking too like if I go too crazy with the colors and like the text is unreadable, that can be its own issue. So I could like. I mean, this could be a blue. I mean, I don't have to go based on these presets. I know I can type in actual hex values, but like this, I think is a no. Unless, wait, hold on. Like, I'm not gonna make this look amazing. You know, this can stay the red. Interesting when I do this automatically flips to being dark. It's interesting how that does that automatically. Take this, but then change the blue itself. Ugh. There's nothing I'm gonna be able to do to make this look like good. Oh right, I can actually have a background banner. Do I care to? So okay, there's the mild interest of okay, there's something I could try. Is go back to scene 1. Do I even want to bother? If I basically make an image that is this grid repeating, that could be the background kind of thing. Maybe I save that for another time. What time is it? 10:40. I don't want to, as I said, I kind of gotta, I don't want to spend too long on this because I gotta go, got stuff to do, but let's see the background, see if I can just get it to more match. If I can match this a little bit better. How about I just let me attempt something real quick. Can I just if I just make a, or even just the material that's on the background, but with the lighting that's not going to actually match. So let me just do this. Copy something as like just temp, and then if because Unity I drop. If I drop this and then get the hex code of basically this should be this after lighting and whatnot, post processing or whatever. I type this in, and then, yeah. Cheating, but not really. Since I bothered to do that, I might as well, I'll do the same thing on the grid. I could do it on the player, but grid is faster. Aha! Text makes sense just being pure white. Actually, either pure white or pure black, depending on what's going to show up better. Just white is fine. Link. You know what? Let's complete the... Since I've already color grabbed some things, let's just get the enemies, I guess. Materials... Temp... Unity's color grabber thing is amazing because it actually can go like outside of the box of Unity. Because we didn't really do that here, but it's capable of doing that, or some programs, like Photoshop, can't like color pick outside of Photoshop, which is like makes it more annoying. And you know what? This is fine. I don't even. Sometimes we put a game on itch, you have to like write in the description like, "Oh, here's the controls." And this, the controls are self-explanatory enough. So I guess actually, is this gonna pop up with? I see secret URL. I gotta make sure that. Fine. Or nothing that shouldn't be shown. Not that it does not matter that much, but I know that when you're publishing a Steam game, you have like special link things that should not be shared. Was there any other things that I needed to adjust? There's Isn't there somewhere where you kind of put, like, what kind of game that it is? Like, a puzzle game or an adventure game or whatever? Ooh. Wait, in early... the fact that I can mark this as a prototype, I think I will. I don't actually know what this does or if this hurts the thing, but I guess just so people know, I think Unity is its own, like, old version of Unity is its own thing. I could also modify it to, like, run in with the window, but no, we're good. Okay. Whatever, anyways, it's fine. Oh, genre, I missed that. What kind of game is this? It's, like, it has some strategy elements to it. It has some minor puzzle. It's totally a platformer, right? I guess just, is it an adventure game? Not really. Is it an action game? I think I just have to put action because it's the most generic thing that, like, there's the action of running away from enemies and not dying to hazards. It's not, I wouldn't call it a rhythm game because, like, yeah, you move on consistent intervals, but it's not like you're matching stuff to, like, actual music or, like, having every move be perfect. So I don't think it counts as a rhythm game. It doesn't have, it's not a puzzle game. There's not, like, puzzles, really. It would be maybe more if it was, like, if you didn't have them moving every 0.4 seconds, and it's like you choose to move, but then also enemies move where you move, so it's more puzzly to, like, get to the end moving the exact right ways. Then it would be more of a puzzle game, but that's not what this is. So, okay, again, these don't matter that much. I don't need to, like, care that much with this. The only reason I'm doing this is because I said I would. This kind of like a bit of a bonus thing, and yeah. So you guys, this isn't even really for, like, the wider internet today. This is just for specifically you guys. Anyone watching my stream who wants to try it just because it can. I guess. I guess I should make sure that I can actually download it and that it works. Oh no. I thought whatever, okay. Blah. You should download, and then, I guess, just, yeah, make sure that it worked. I got no time to think. Zip. Extract all. Blarg. Yeah, double check that it's actually working. And then I can fill in, like, yeah, I'll fill in the description on my own time. That's, oh no, it might be a virus. You think this is a virus? It might be. Whoa, no. Oh wait, it didn't get an exclamation mark in the thing. Does it have an exclamation mark, like, in the title there? No, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's fine. I don't even know if they can. Can they? I think I sort of seen a game window that had punctuation in it before, but whatever. Not that it matters that much. Okay, so cool. Yep, it worked. It seemed to work. I didn't hide the mouse. I don't need to do that. I could do that if I really wanted to, but no. I mean, that could be a tiny thing in the polished version. That is just one more thing on the pile, but I don't need to make, like, a custom cursor. I mean, you can upload a like a custom, cursor thing. Yeah, not doing that. That's extreme levels of unnecessary. Which is why we're gonna do and spend 5 streams entirely just dedicated to making the perfect cursor. No. So I guess we just run. I'll run through this one more time. If so far it's currently working, it's probably all fine. You know what? Just for the funsies, we spent a lot of random photoshopping. Oh, I should make sure I didn't move around anything outside of being in play mode. So I don't. In theory, my messing around to take screenshots. Oh, I left in that temp material. That's fine. I know I'll delete it now, but I'm not gonna re-upload it for that. That's a-okay. Okay. Woo. But yeah, we'll run this through this one more time. This is the last. This is the last you guys will be seeing of this game for a while, in theory. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And overall, it's pretty good. I'm like understanding that we had a whole bunch of things happen. Like I did not have nearly as much time to work on this as I thought I would, and yada yada. I'm overall happy with how this turned out, even with how we had to kind of tweak the challenge a little bit. That is fine overall. Wow. I think one of my favorite mechanics in this is the springs. Just that being launched forward too is, I don't know, it's satisfying as a game mechanic. The enemies, they turned out pretty good. The fact that the player and the enemies and the boulders all reuse the same animations is, yeah, like it worked. It like turned out fine. We got some squash and stretch on the player, and that's nice. It's cool to have for just a bit of polish rather than the player just moving over. The eyes turned out pretty good. I know we spent so much time just tweaking the eyes to make them just not look dumb. It was in a lot of cases they were looking very, very weird. And playing around with it, having pupils or like an actual eye color and like all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but again, there can be endless amount of polish that we could do. We'll see how much we actually do. But you know, the player, I don't know how much the player will be completely redesigned. Like, will the player even be blue in the polished version? I don't know. I think we'll probably start from like more mandatory things and then go to more you know, the fancy things, I guess. Well, mandatory in like some stuff that I wanted to add, where like, you know, I wanted to have the final proper level with like the 5x5 enemy. I even though that's not really polished to make that, I mean, it kind of is a little bit, but then polished to make it, you know, good. So doing stuff like that. I will probably also clean up the code a lot more. There's definitely a lot of things I kind of rushed because of the sake of the time limit, where a lot of the grid interaction code is quite messy. There's a thing where like the arrows, if I want to change their direction or their starting direction, it's like a two-step process because there's just some stuff that could be automated but isn't. There's this level where if I move down too fast, I don't even have to deal with that enemy, which that's fine. People have multiple ways to beat levels. It's fine. Not the biggest deal in the world. Yeah, what was I saying was the sentence I just said? This game doesn't have music. It could ideally do, if we do that, do music, sound effects, the whole thing there. But yeah, adding new things. Lots of any polish we could do. Gotta figure out what polish I'm actually gonna do. And whoop. Yeah. But overall, yeah, this turned out all right for making a game in a short period of time. It was cool to start something new, I suppose. Even if it was something small. And also, so I don't usually do 2D games, even though this isn't even really 2D. It's oh, why did I not turn? It's a 2D game technically, but like in, you know, from the Unity side of things, we know that it's just like it's cubes and stuff all from a top-down angle. Yeah, well, maybe I don't know if we'll like make it more proper. Like, actually, that might be one thing I do is actually replace the cubes and stuff, like actually flatten them out and stuff like that. I would like to, yeah, clean up some of the messy code and make it better, because it'll even just potentially make it easier to then add more polish to things when like the code for how things interact on the grid is better. Yeah, we'll see. And maybe if I can figure out a more robust system for like the layering, because I said this initially with the code that governs how two things interact on the grid, it's a lot more messier because we can run into situations where there's two things occupying the same grid spot. Like right now, when I move on to this thing at the exact wrong time, then both that crumbling block is on the same grid space at the same time as the player is. So then there's just extra code that needs to handle that. If there's like a better way I could handle that through some kind of like layering system where it's like, because there is potentially some maximum amount of things that can be on a grid space. So if I almost have like, instead of having to just keep track of some array where I have to go through each element, I always have like, here's the ground thing on this grid spot, and then here's the moving thing on this grid spot, or something like that. And then maybe even just like a special thing for if the player is there that, you know, is kept track of. I don't know. That could be stuff that could help maybe simplify or modularize some of the grid code. Who knows? We'll see. But when I do that, because now when I was making this game, I was like rushing trying to get it done in the time. I could take my time more with that. But I mean, I don't know how interesting that'll be to see, but we'll see. We'll see. And or I mean, even some of that like more tedious stuff, I might do more, you know, off stream between, you know, more interesting stuff, which I also got to figure out what that's going to be specifically. But yeah, all of that is we'll see. It's all experimental, all just trying stuff and throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. Oh, I'm excited to be it was neat to be making this game. I am excited to move on past it to ideas, my plans for what we're going to be doing after this. Which, one of the more, almost, not immediate, but one thing we'll be doing very shortly is I just have some ideas for how we're going to... some ideas for improving the, like the actual, some of my OBS stuff. Whoa! With the actual layout of the stream itself that I think will be potentially interesting if it works, and a learning experience if it doesn't. But I don't know how much of that I'll be able to do on stream if I'm messing with OBS things. We'll see. That'll be experimental. There's some like basically custom Unity graphics I want to try to make, and that I can totally be on doing on stream. Some stuff that's gonna be experimenting with like lighting and post processing and Blender things. That'll be doable, but yeah, we'll see. Even things like so at the beginning of my stream I have like a stream starting soon screen, like that is an example, something I want to make a new of that, and play around with stuff rather than that just being a screenshot of my, like, the sort of full screen version of my logo in a way. Making an actual like looping video that's just some small little thing, like basically like something that looks like a Unity scene where just some stuff is going on in the background, like almost like looking like a partially built level with like purposely looking like debug textures and like grid stuff all over the place, but just having stuff happening like in the distance, like random, physicsy, cubes falling or moving around, or making stuff like that. Like I want to experiment with maybe doing some little things like that to that could be cool and a better showcase of my skill and the stuff that I more so do in Unity, with making games, more the Unity side of things rather than just being Blender, I guess. Oh, okay. This is the final level. We're almost done here. Yeah. So, but I have a lot of potential ideas of things to do. I gotta turn that list of maybes into actual specifics and then get an actual order. So like between now and the next stream, that's what that's gonna be, a lot of which. So there might be a bit of a gap between now and the next stream, as I just have to, because in the last week with making this game, it was super easy to, pretty easy to know, like, okay, the next stream is just gonna be continue to work on this game, so I don't gotta like plan, other than playing a little bit. There's not a whole lot to plan there, other than just like, okay, here's what we're doing next. But now I gotta do a lot more actual planning of like, okay, what are we doing specifically, and what's that gonna look like, and doing planning beforehand so the stream itself is more interesting and less me trying to come up with stuff on the spot and failing to do so. But yeah, so that was No Time to Think. Yeah, a game that turned out well. I'll test the restart button. Yeah, it actually does work. That's just a quick, like, yeah, puts you at the start of the game. But again, in theory, the polished version of this has like a main menu, a level select, the whole thing there, which and then if we have a level select, giving each level actual like names, that could be a thing. Rather than just, I think that can make levels more memorable just in general, rather than just being level 1, 2, 3, whatever. Giving actual names to the levels, like Crash Bandicoot does that, and like other games. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. So with that, before I forget, that like temp material I wanted to delete. Where are you? Temp grid, not deleting, because that's something more important. That's part of the level construction stuff. Okay, so it being 10:57, we've been going for an hour and 44 minutes. That kind of brings us to the end of what this stream was kind of initially meant to be, which was the making of, or the uploading the game. Just getting that out of the way, because I'm gonna be busy for the next little bit, and I didn't want to like push off doing this for like a week for now to just like, just upload the game, whatever. I want to like just get that done, so like it's done. Cool, which means I can technically on this Trello board say that this is done, I suppose. So now we can now say that my shackles come off from this challenge. The didn't even have like a name, just making a game in 9 days challenge is done. It's over, or done. So now going forward, now going forward, I'm working on other things, but then also if I return to doing some stuff with this game specifically, there's no like worry of not having the pressure of the time limit, because I was having significantly less time to work on it than I thought I would. It was towards the beginning, or towards like the middle, it was getting a bit stressful. Like, oh no, am I actually gonna finish this on time? Problem. But yeah, that's no more. I mean, if I am doing some stuff with this, I do want to, complete the things I want to complete in a reasonable amount of time. But there's no forced restrictions that like, it'd be different, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, so that's this done, which means goodbye to this. Be a while till we see it again. Because that's the thing. I don't know. I say eventually we'll come back to this and do some polish. I don't actually know realistically when that's going to be. I like the idea of now going and doing some other stuff, and I don't know how much I'm going to be like, would I rather do this new thing or doing this polish? I choose this because it'll be more fun and interesting. I don't know to what degree that's going to be how I choose that for a while. But I think bare minimum, I'll say bare minimum, I probably won't touch this game again until I've uploaded at least one video to my YouTube channel. Because I think now that's my next my next overarching thing that I'm working towards. Before, for these 9 days, it's gonna be a second for my video there. Okay. For the last like 9 streams, we had this the arc, the overall arc of working on this game. The next large arc thing, I guess, is working towards next video. How has it been? Like, because I keep having such large gaps between doing stuff. And I say the main type of content I want to be making is these Unity tutorials. On screen right now is 3. And then from here all the way to here, I haven't done any of that. There was, after I finished like a year of school, I had made some games, so I just wanted to show those off. A video about how I made my intro and outro, just me rambling, because why not? An old game that I was working on, explaining why I'm not working on it anymore, which I have some files for, files that had to do with this game that are on my old computer that I want to put on my current computer so that I can show some more stuff off with that on stream. But this also is a thing we'll eventually get back to, just reasons why I'm not, even though this game looks simpler because it's like cubes and spheres and stuff, reasons why I put that on the side for now. But I'll eventually get back to it. There's Ultra Tag, which that's a whole other thing. This, I need to come up with I want to rename this game as well. This was a school project to make a tag game. That's why it's called that. But then I like the idea of some stuff that I made. And even like beyond what we made here, I have more ideas of what I want to turn it into that I think can be a cool game. But yeah, different name eventually. School project, but also the start of Heading with the Unicycle. Devlog 1, I never even made a Devlog 2. So much has happened between that and where we are now, but I just haven't had the time to do that. And I'm also like it's like a low quality nothing video for me to just turn on a camera and ramble for 40 minutes about like, oh, here's some stuff. But I know like some indie developers will like actually, here's highly edited development log, which I don't know how they make those in such little time. Like even something like, this didn't even have much editing, but I tried to do a super edited thing like this. It like feels like for me it takes like so much time to make something like that. Even this video took a while to actually make, and it's just me rambling about. So between here and here, at one point I started learning how to make music in FL Studio, and I just did some like things with that. And then this was me like rambling about how I made these, and like almost a little bit my history of how I made music with some of my games, and like my intro and outro and whatever. And then also I was giving credit, because like I did not make all these originally myself. This was learning experience kind of stuff. So this also like, I wanted to make this because it like, gives credit to the sources that helped me learn how to do this. So yeah, clearing my conscience there. But yeah, going forward, ideally the next video is a tutorial on something interesting that hopefully has a cool style that is visually interesting, because I want to balance both of that, of like, let me teach something that's cool, but also have something that's visually interesting and like whatever. But then also having videos that are just, here's a visually interesting thing happening in a Unity scene that isn't an educational thing, that could be a video that someone could watch that's not trying to learn how to move a character in a game or whatever. But yeah, we'll get to that. The main crux with that at the moment is that I'm not, in theory, gonna be making a video that's exactly like this or this or that. This and this have very different styles and how they're presented and whatnot. I'm experimenting with more, or will be. I have a new, like, an idea for the style that I want to kind of have with the the next couple tutorials that I make. So I've gotta make some stuff to like experiment to do that. But in theory, once I've made like 1 or 2 videos in that style, then I'll kind of have stuff more concretely figured out. To then, if I'm continuing with that, then go forward doing that and having that turn out good. And then be able to make more stuff faster, in theory. So, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but... So I think we are probably going to end things off very shortly. I did say I did stop before midnight as like my like hard cutoff. It would have worked better if I go more closer to now. Mainly I just gotta get up super early tomorrow, so you know, sleeping would be good. But yeah, so that's that. I think I have more things I wanted to say that I'm forgetting. I can ramble for hours about like what we're doing next and where we're going, and with all these different things. You know, I'll end off on get to look at this because last time that we'll be looking at this for a bit. Let's go to a random scene. What's my favorite level? Do I have a single favorite level? I mean, the end one. I kind of like that. Here's just the sprawling madness of things. Whatever. Yeah, we'll be looking at this. Yeah, so I can ramble for a while about like what's gonna be coming, but slowly you'll see it. And I gotta do more planning on what's specifically gonna be happening and how I'm gonna, you know, stream it in a way that's more interesting. And ow, my finger. Yeah, but then also soon I might be in a different location, so if that happens, things will also be slowed down. I don't know when the next stream will be because I gotta do planning, figure out what we're gonna be doing and how it's gonna be interesting and all that. If people are interested, so I do have a Discord. Woo! If you type !Discord, it'll bring a link to that. So feel free to, you know, go there if you want to ask questions about game design stuff that I can try to, you know, answer, or like show off your games or like whatever. Trying to grow that, make that more active. But then also I can give updates, like between now and next stream, I'll be giving updates on how that planning process is going and whatnot. If you have ideas, things that you want me to do, feel free to suggest those as well. With how many things I have on my list, I don't know how eager I am to add new things to that already monstrous list, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, like with the tutorials in general, that's something that would be useful for me. I am trying to make, you know, unique stuff, not just making tutorials on like what's already there's a million tutorials on, but even a same concept can be explained in new ways and be interesting and all that. Like, so actually I'm not decided on this right now, but what I think the next tutorial might be, just be something small and simple, was something I learned while making this game that I was like, oh, that's neat. I didn't know that was a thing you could do. Like, that's just, it's not something I had thought of before, and that's something that has interesting applications or whatever. I still gotta figure out how I'm gonna present this, if I even go with this idea. I might not, I'm not 100% decided on it. But when I was making animations, just the fact that with the player, we made this one animation of the player moving up, and then I was able to copy that animation for up, down, left, and right, without having to make 4 separate animations. And we did that through in late update, because late update is a thing that exists that runs sort of after the animation stuff has been calculated. Basically, having an animation do something, and then in late update being like, okay, here's what the animation did. Let's like override that with additional stuff, in this case to move up, or to take the position and multiply to move down, or swap the X and the Z, you know, move left and right. I don't know, this was a cool revelation to me that I think could be something I make a tutorial out of, just to show other people like, hey, this is a thing that you can do. But I gotta figure out like the context of, like, the tutorial won't be, hey, late update exists. I've said this before already in this stream, but I don't do tutorials where it's like, here's a concept. I like to make something with it and then teach that concept in order to do that. I could do that in this exact thing, literally use the assets from this game to literally be like, we have this character, we animate them moving up, let's get that to copy to go down, left, and right. But because of how much other code is existing in this with the grid movement code, all the interaction stuff, the enemy, like whatever, I don't know if that's the way I want to present it, or find a different application of the same idea of having a simple animation that does something and then modifying it in late update with code to potentially do something else. Do something that's like on a more simpler scale with the coding side of things, maybe. But I don't know if that'll be a more 3D or 2D kind of way, but we'll see. We'll see. So this idea that I have for what the next little tutorial thing could be. But I mean, I want to make a lot of tutorials. So that's not going to be the only one. Like, in theory, I make that one, and then I potentially make more on other things. I have a bunch of potential topics that I want to do stuff on that'll hopefully be interesting. So, but anyways, you'll see that as that kind of stuff develops. But yeah, if there's anything specific that you want to see, then let me know and I can try to do that. It would also be cool to like get suggestions from like in YouTube comments or whatever of tutorials, and then literally then make tutorials out of those kind of things. But yeah, we'll see. Ideally, I get to a point where I'm making stuff on like more like general concepts. It would be cool to have some ongoing series where it's like, let's make a skateboarding game. Part 1, getting skateboard to move. Part 2, like an ollie, like getting like that kind of jumping stuff to work. Part 3, going off a quarter pipe and making that physics work. Part 4, grinding, you know, that kind of. And those are some things I've never done, so even just me doing those on my like. One thing that's cool with my tutorials, some of them that I've done in the past, is like, here's a thing I don't know, let me go learn how to do that, and now that I've learned it, make a tutorial out of it. So it's also a good excuse for me to learn new stuff in Unity. So my list of like 140 things that I've never done in Unity I want to learn, once I've done some of those, then I can make tutorials out of them. But that's, I think, more if I think I can present it in like a unique way, I guess, that isn't just like, copying what other people are doing or whatever. So the idea of doing some series is kind of interesting, but then also individual things that are like, that can probably range from, I mean, I did a tutorial on like, oh, let's get a character to jump and here's how that works. Get a camera to follow a player. I did stuff like that. But then even just potentially doing very beginner type things like, hey, you can get a rigid body and then add force to it. Or even like, because it's hard for me to judge with how long I've been doing Unity stuff, like what is considered beginner or like more intermediate or whatever. Maybe going even more beginner than that, like, hey, here's how you do variables and stuff. But I don't know. There's stuff I'm playing around with, potential things I could do. Very little is concrete. It's all up in the air. But even like if I'm doing stuff like that, I'm a tutorial on like those kind of concepts. I'm more looking into now like how I can do something like that, but show it off in a very cool way that, like, even if you don't care that much about what the tutorial is, like, you can still watch it and be like, oh, some cool visuals happen. Like, the idea of accompanying stuff like that with cool Unity visuals of just how a camera might whip around and show something, or like, or just how some stuff might move around. Leaning harder into that interests me. As an example of something, let me just no, hold on. Over here. Let me just pause background music for a second. This is video I made. I'm just gonna play like the first 5 seconds of it because there's something in it. This is gonna be really quiet, isn't it? What I'm saying doesn't matter that much. I'm just gonna turn up the volume. I don't know how loud this is gonna be. Let's try this. I'd rather. I'm gonna play 5 seconds and then explain a thing.
Has this ever happened to you? Has this ever happened to you? I can't move this submarine! Ah! Well, by the end of this video, you'll be saying, wow, I can move this submarine! Hey.
See, even though like I put a lot of effort into this, it has lots of editing and all that, it is still like, this camera is old, the lighting is bad, this was at an older location, yeah, it could be a lot better. But specifically, the energy of not just what I say, but how I'm like,
I can't move
this submarine. Ah! Something I really like about that. That's something I like custom coded for the tutorial. Just like, oh, have it like turn randomly, and then I experimented with like tweaking variables until I was able to get it to like whoosh off. That's all happening by code, not like an animator. And then just recorded that. The energy of just like,
I can't move this submarine. Ah!
Random like custom coded like visuals like that as I'm showing concepts, or more like the things going wrong. It's like that. I want to lean more into that, have more stuff like that happen in my tutorials and like whatever, and yeah, things like that could be funny, or at the very least like visually interesting looking to have stuff fly around, or like even or interesting like camera movement, or even stuff like subtle things happening in the background that don't have that much to do with the actual like what the thing I'm showing off is. But yeah, so yeah. Anyway, that's a thing. So yeah. Anyways, I've been rambling for like 2 hours. Before I forget, I just need to. I turned the background volume up. I need to put it back to what it was before. Otherwise, I'll forget, and the next time I start a stream, I'll just be killing your ears with background music. Hold on. You, this guy over this one, and then this is taking longer than I intended it to, but it's fine. 25. No, I said 5. Okay. Just telling the exact number. Anyways, let that go. Everything's good. Everything's good. So I think we'll end things off for now. This is my first week-ish of coming back to streaming. It's still going really well. I'm actually very surprised with how well that has actually gone. Like, had a lot of people here from when I was streaming before coming in and saying hi, and like that's very, very awesome. A decent amount of new people, also very, very cool. And yeah, I was like fully prepared to be like streaming for so many weeks with like basically having 0 or like 1 viewers, but no, that's exceeded my expectations. So yeah, thank you guys all for being here and not abandoning me in my months of being gone, just being way too busy with other things. But I'm back. I am back for realsies this time. In theory, my current plan is to continue streaming as I have time for it. Right now, like I have stuff like I have a full-time job and whatever that's keeping me busy. But how busy that has been, not just that, other life things. How busy that has been should be, I think by the end of this month, maybe a little bit after that, should be starting to wind down, and then I think I'll have more time to at least stream consistently. Which then I gotta figure out more like hours for that. That's a whole other thing. When I was gonna start streaming now, this 9-day sequence that happened, the initial plan was, I said I was gonna stream maybe from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. my time zone, but then maybe a little bit before, maybe a little bit after that, and then that didn't quite happen that way either. And a lot of streams may start around 6 and then went all the way to like midnight. So I gotta figure out maybe what the consistent schedule is actually gonna be. And it does seem that in general I get more viewership like later in the night, so I might want to plan for that. But also I gotta sleep and stuff as well. So there are some hours that I would not pick, like not at 4 a.m. No, thank you. But yeah, anyways, but that's all stuff that I'm figuring out and planning. And yeah, you guys will all see once I come to a decision on the things, like what I'm planning, whatever. I'm repeating myself a lot at this point, but yeah. So is there anything else I want to say? I feel like I'm forgetting something that I wanted to bring up, but you know, whatever. Oh well. I don't remember it, then well. But yeah, so I guess we're gonna end things off for now. The No Time to Think game is done, complete, woo! And next time you guys will be seeing something new, several new things, like each stream being potentially something different, which I think would be cool, would be exciting. So and then hopefully, yeah, the content will be more, whatnot. We'll be making some cool stuff. So I guess look forward to that. So as I end things off here. But I actually have, I'm right, I never lowered the desk. I have a moving desk that can go up and down. I've only just now realized that I actually kept the desk raised, boom, back and forth the entire stream, so woo, standing. Yeah, anyways, so I guess we're gonna end things off, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. So, no, I'm not ending like that, I gotta do my full outro. So that'll do it for this live stream. Thank you all gotta say it right, say the right lines in the right order. That'll do it for this live stream. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around. I gotta do this and then have a button I can just hit with my elbow that stops the stream. Anyways, yep. Let me step over here. All right. Hey, see ya. Bye.